Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep.
What's up?
Hi! Before early edition birthday song is stuck in my head.
Why?
We've got a treat for you
Oh,
at
dude.
the end of today's
we're
9
showing
News
that.
Now.
From what?
Yes.
From the early edition this
From
morning?
the early edition. Every morning at 4:30, you can
Right.
catch yours truly with Johnny and Steve. They celebrate birthdays, and we've got a real special one to celebrate today.
It got a little out of hand as we
Always.
as we normally typically do.
Always. But in the meantime, let's fill you in on some of the important stuff that you need to know before you head out the door.
Today, actually, we got a bunch of viewers, obviously, just across the border in Mississippi.
Yeah.
And today in Mississippi, brand new, anybody over the age of 16, go get your shot.
Yeah, it's a really big deal
It
when
is.
you talk about opening the eligibility to anyone who can receive a vaccine in Mississippi. Our friends and neighbors up there can do that.
So again, that is happening up there, and we have to remember we did stories at the very beginning of this. We had people, we were talking about people who actually didn't live in Mississippi, rolling up there
vaccine
to get
tourism.
exactly right. And so, okay, but that's when the tiers were very kind of limited.
Right.
Not as many people getting them, and so more. I mean, supply was still kind of weird,
Right.
but maybe they didn't have as many didn't have as many people who qualified as they had shots at the time. Well, now as they open this thing up, do more people kind of cross the?
It's a good question.
I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. Obviously, we'll be
Yeah.
following that. But today, day one for all of that.
For our neighbors in Mississippi, good heads up.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Coming up today as well, an update. We should be getting updates today about vaccine eligibility, availability in Louisiana.
Yeah.
And the last we heard, this is one of the stories you can find obviously on WAFB.com, the 9 News app, not maybe getting as much as we have the last number of weeks.
Yeah, and that's really important because as last week Governor John Bel Edwards mentioned the expanded eligibility tier, so there's going to be a lot more people trying to get those appointments scheduled. And the supply may not be there. That's just this week. Obviously, we're waiting for the White House to get those official numbers of how many doses are coming to our area. But really important to note, again, if you run into trouble booking an appointment and the pharmacy or place that you call says, hey, we don't have it this week, just be patient with them and just keep calling around and trying. And we've got all of the
that right
places
there.
listed.
Yeah, and then all the places has actually been increasing. 628 providers in the 64 parish area, obviously, this entire state. So that number continues to rise. Hopefully we can get the dosage that gets there. And we'll see about those tiers. I mean, again, right across the way, Mississippi, 16 and up, come and get your shots. We'll see. This story, where did it go? It should be right up here close to the, this is going on today, a hearing over.
Tomorrow, actually.
Tomorrow, that's
Yes.
right, we mentioned that, tomorrow at Oregon State University.
And this is obviously the fallout that's happening since that Title IX Hush Blackwell report came out saying that LSU mishandled sexual assault claims from victims. And so obviously during the time that these incidents happened, F. King Alexander was the president of LSU. He has since moved on to Oregon State University. But members of the Oregon State community have reached out to the Board of Trustees there saying, hey, we are concerned about this report, the issues that happened during his time there. How could that impact his time overseeing Oregon State University?
So does this lead to some kind of punishment? Does this lead to termination? That is all speculation, obviously right now.
But there's the potential for that.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And so we'll have our eyes on that for you. This comes just as LSU announced a brand new person heading up their Title IX office. And this was always something that particular office was also responsible for a multitude of other things.
Right.
And sometimes things got lost. That's not an excuse at all. But now maybe they begin to get to where they need to be and be able to keep some of the promises they've made to students and student athletes for a long time.
Yeah, so Gene Cassidy will be the interim vice president of the Office of Civil Rights and the new Title IX office. Again, this is something that interim president Tom Galligan has said following last week's report, following the hearing for the Legislative Caucus for the Senate Select Women and Children Committee. So this is all in response to that, and she says her priority number one is to staff that office and make sure they're reviewing the way that these claims are processed.
One of the things that you do to get into school, to get into a college, say LSU or Oregon State or wherever you want to go, did you take the ACTs and the SATs when you were a kid?
I took it, but I took the ACT 4 times.
4 times.
4 times, and that's with ACT prep.
And with the prep, I got
Yes.
you. I took it twice, and I was living in the Northeast at the time as well, and I took the SATs. Those tests are hard enough,
Yes.
just by themselves, just hard enough. And now there are, and this is the first time we've talked about this, scams running around with these tests.
And that's because when you think about scams, right? Scammers are preying on victims who are looking for any opportunity. So in this case, you've got parents, you've got students who are doing anything to try to get that best score, try to improve themselves by by masking themselves as ACT prep tutors.
Coaches, right.
Coaches,
Absolutely.
yeah. And so Callie Hubbard was live this morning. She spoke at the BBB to talk about some of the scams that they're seeing.
Yeah.
People are preying on college-bound students who are trying to take the ACT, standardized testing, and try to help them improve their score. But in the end, they end up just losing a bunch of money and no prep.
And no actual prep.
Right.
And like you said, these are parents and kids getting ready to try and make this happen. And all right, look, it's already difficult enough. Look, this looks like it's going to work. Let's just, and then all of a sudden, like you said, you fall into it. Next thing you know, you're out $300 and you get no tutoring, no help, no coaching, that kind of thing. Callie also touched on another scam running around right now.
Gosh,
we're beginning to open up a little bit more right now,
Right.
obviously, as we kind of hit a plateau. We still need to get this plateau lower as far as virus numbers. But traveling, more folks are beginning to travel, and go figure, there are people out there right now waiting to take advantage of those folks who want to maybe get out a little bit more.
Yeah, so this particularly for people that the BBB has seen is people who are renewing their TSA PreCheck global entry programs.
Stuff.
So a lot of you travelers who may be getting emails saying, hey, look, we know the vaccine's out. We know people are starting to get more comfortable. It's time for you to renew your membership or your subscription. Turns out that link will send you to somewhere where you type in all your personal information.
Right.
They end up taking your credit card number, running up a bunch of charges in your name, and you're out of that money.
Right.
So always follow the official links, and even if you do get something in the email saying something about your account, make sure you are going to a legitimate authorized website that you know is trusted by the U.S. government, like TSA's website. You want to make sure you're going through there and not following any miscellaneous links.
And one thing that Callie mentioned as well this morning, we've talked about it very often as well, if you are putting in any kind of a number, that kind of thing, or charging, avoid the debit card.
Yes.
Right? Because you mentioned credit cards as well. If you use a credit card, sometimes your bank can actually, be, go figure, your best friend when it comes to something like this.
Right.
They can go ahead and challenge these charges. They can get your money back. That particular credit card company, ATM cards, that debit card, I mean, the money is just gone. That can be difficult.
Yeah.
The credit card company, they can actually challenge.
It's easier to dispute those charges because it's not actually your money.
It's
You're
not your
borrowing
money.
that.
Right.
Hey, speaking of banks, you know some of the bigger banks are actually starting to process some of the new
Heard
stimulus
that.
checks.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, that should be
Yeah,
in there.
this just came out from our news partners at CBS and CNN saying some of the bigger banks are starting to process those. So more of you who have accounts with, say, Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, Capital One, should start seeing those stimulus payments come in soon.
Which is great news. Obviously, this past weekend, you saw some folks get those into their bank accounts. It really was a lot of folks who had their electronic file. IRS had that information ready for them. And so now this is that next step, that next level of those payments making the rounds. It's going to be a little bit to get everywhere, but this is that next step. And when you talk about the big banks, obviously we're talking about a large pool of customers.
Right.
So this is going to be helpful for a lot of folks as they begin to find those the money in their account on Wednesday.
And for those of you looking for the money, I just want to quickly mention this because we got a couple calls about it this morning. Yesterday we mentioned the IRS stimulus tool to get my payment,
sure did. Yes.
and we were walking people through it. So I took 2 calls this morning saying I can't get through. It's not even letting me access
Locked
that.
up a little bit.
So many people are trying to find out where their payment is. So if you run into that, if it's not letting you through and you're running into some errors or invalid access code, just know that there are hundreds of thousands of millions of people trying to get to the same part. So
and this is something we saw last time.
Yeah.
Because this is the IRS re-roll. They rolled this out again with this latest stimulus check payment. This is something they had before, and they also had some lockups on the website because there's so many people who are trying to get on there. Anyway, so that's all that's going on.
Yes.
Speaking of jumping online and figuring stuff out.
Yes.
19th JDC.
Oh yeah.
Is right now doing if you've got a traffic ticket that maybe you have not paid. They got an amnesty program running around. We talked about the one in Denham Springs a number of times, but this one, 19th JDC, it's a pretty big population base and a lot of folks here.
So Austin Kemker spent the day going back and looking to see how far these go and how far did you say?
Mid-80s. Mid-80s. They got tickets that have not been paid since the mid-80s.
Wow.
Now here's the thing. If you don't understand how all this works, if you get a traffic ticket and you just kind of like, nope, into the junk drawer in the kitchen, that's where all mine are. No, I'm just kidding. I just said. All mine are paid. All mine are paid as far as you know.
We promise.
But at some point, if you don't pay, you get that bench warrant out for you, and that's a fine, and that's an issue, and it's not just
Domino
a ticket.
effect.
Exactly right. And so what 19th JDC is doing right now, they're not going to get rid of the ticket for you, but what you can do is clear up that warrant that you have out there. They'll get rid of that. Any of the extra fines, and then you can pay your ticket. Then you can figure out, because some folks maybe lose their driver's license with all of this, so they're offering this as a way to get it done.
Kind of like a make good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's like thousands of them.
Right.
So if you got to, here's the thing. if you got a ticket in EBR from the sheriff's office or state police in EBR or LSU PD or SUPD in EBR, that's 19th JDC. But if you got a ticket from BRPD, Baton Rouge Police Department, that's city court. That's a different connection. That's a different place you'd have to go.
To distinguish. I didn't know that.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
A lot of folks be like, I got a ticket right here. It's
Right.
19 JDC. If
It
it's
is
BRPD,
confusing.
it kind of is. We got like 70 dozen law enforcement agencies out there with jurisdiction in EBR. But 19th JDC is the one offering this amnesty program right now. And apparently there's thousands of folks who could use it.
Yeah, if you know
It's a lot.
somebody, spread the word. There's a good chance with the tickets like that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Weather?
Oh, whoa.
Hey, what's going on?
It's doing that
you go.
because
Yeah.
all this little green alien looking stuff is what we're expecting.
Green alien.
Some of that is actually moving through right now,
Yeah, a little bit.
intermittently throughout our viewing area, but
Yep.
really tomorrow is the main day we're looking out for, right?
Yeah, just that severe possibility on Wednesday.
Yes, so it's, I believe, not going to really pass through during the morning show. It's really going to happen during the afternoon into the evening hours. So you just want to make sure you're prepared before you leave the house tomorrow. Pack that umbrella, pack that poncho, pack the WAFB weather app on your phone. It is free,
Yeah.
so you know exactly when that's going to come, especially if that's going to impact your evening drive home.
Exactly right. And you can see that it's just kind of laid out there in the 3 days. You got the
Yikes.
PM thunderstorms.
Yeah.
And some of these things, as Steve was talking about this morning, yeah, like you mentioned, could be severe in spots. But right now, the majority of the viewing area is on that 2 out of the
Right.
5 scale for potential for severe weather. So their whole thing is just making sure you're prepared, just
Yeah.
in the know about what's going on. And like you mentioned, one of the best ways to do that, keep the 9 News weather app, the 9 Alert weather app.
Because who likes to be blindsided by
No,
a severe thunderstorm?
exactly, none of it. none of it.
Nobody.
So there's that.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Always.
Why not?
So lots of exciting things coming up in the world of sports, including some SEC tournaments.
Yeah, we got a little bit of that.
Yeah.
LSU baseball is going to be back on the field today.
Yeah.
LSU softball going to be back on the field today. In-state
Right.
rivalries with Southeastern,
Yes.
the Lions. Both teams playing the Lions, just different
Yes.
parts of our viewing area.
Softball is traveling to
Right.
Hammond. Meanwhile, they are coming. The baseball team is coming
It's coming here.
Yes, the
Yeah.
box.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
So LSU baseball with some things to figure out. This is the last game for them before their SEC season
Wow.
begins this coming weekend at home at the box with Mississippi State. For softball, both LSU and Southeastern have actually already begun their
Yeah.
SEC seasons. So or their conference seasons. So this is a little out of conference kind of test, kind of getting their stuff together. But again, it's on the road for it's softball at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
At the box for baseball at 6:30.
There we go. So two things to keep an eye out for
lot going on.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean tonight. Sorry.
Tonight, yes, tonight, and we should be good.
Yes.
Weather should be all right.
Fingers crossed.
All right, so birthday.
So this is my favorite part of the entire day so far.
It was kind of weird.
Backstory here for those of you who are watching 9 News Now. Every morning, Matt Williams, host and anchor of Early Edition.
Yeah.
Early,
Why are
meaning
you awake
4:30
so
in the
dang
morning,
early?
right? And they've got a wonderful community of people who watch.
It's crazy.
Lots of people
Yeah,
on
it's a little weird.
Facebook. You can actually watch on Facebook too, behind the scenes.
Ah,
So
yeah.
they celebrate birthdays every morning, celebrity birthdays.
Something stupid and fun to do.
Yes. So today's birthday
There
is
was a
one
few,
of them.
right.
Flava Flav.
Flava Flav, and you
I
can't.
did not know.
You can't say the name without doing the whole
Never.
because that's him. And so,
course.
well, he had the clock that he used to wear.
Oh
around.
yeah, the
back then.
iconic, even during the show and
So
everything.
there you go.
So play for the people.
Stop.
Johnny's got the clock. He's got a clock on him.
Flavor Flav.
Stop. Johnny's got the clock. He's got a clock on him.
Flavor
Are
Flav.
you gonna step out in front of the green screen and show the people?
Flavor Flav. I'm Flavor Flav.
All right, hold on. We'll see.
Wait.
Look at
Is that what he
He's the weather clock right here.
It looks like his eye is almost holding it.
Is that what that take? 9 volts?
the microphone's
Is it
like
diamond
diamond
encrusted? Or is that
Johnny's still rolling out of bed. I mean, can we get the straight button at least?
I love everybody.
Casual Tuesday. What is it?
Absolutely. There you go.
I got it.
This is my favorite part.
Okay.
You wiped it.
It was a sweaty
Stop.
moment.
Johnny's got the clock. He's got a clock
That
on
is
him.
the kind of
Flavor
fun they have
Flav.
on the early edition. That is the reason why you watch the early edition, just for the kicks and giggles and to find out whose celebrity birthday it is. Because I found out this morning Steve has a crush on Eva Longoria, whose birthday was yesterday.
Who doesn't? I mean,
I know
it's
she is
Eva
drop
Longoria.
dead.
Exactly. It's Eva
Gorgeous.
Longoria.
Gorgeous.
So yeah, early edition 4:30 crazy.
Yes.
The whole idea of any kind of morning show is not just to give you all the blood smoking scandal, because there's plenty of that, but God forbid there's an opportunity to smile, maybe even laugh over 2.5 hours to get your morning going. Same thing kind of here. I mean, who wants to start their day just feeling absolutely angry and mad and irritated at the world they're a part of? So, you know, morning show, you have the opportunity to, I don't know, smile and laugh every once in a while. God forbid.
Right. And we
God
like
forbid.
to do that together. So
Yeah.
we're having fun here.
Yes.
We're having fun with you.
Yes.
And starting your day with some joy.
Yes, trying to.
Yes.
And then we do this for you. I don't know, and then we're throwing this monkey at you. WAFB Plus,
Yes.
Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, YouTube, all the places.
All the internet
A brand new
things.
way to be annoyed with me. You like her. Anyway, so that's what we're doing here.
Yeah, and we're going to pass the baton on literally to Johnny A, Flava Flav,
We'll give him a clock.
Incognito.
Yeah,
yes, we will.
Big clock he can wear around his neck.
Because today at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
he's hosting the Asian Nation.
Yes.
And who is his guest?
His guest is actually somebody with actual skill.
What?
Chef John Fultz.
Yum.
So, I mean, everybody knows the chef down
Yep.
here. He's been a part of WAFB's family for a very long time, a part of the South Louisiana community for such a very long time. Everything he touches, just all the food, so good.
Yum.
So, Johnny and the chef.
Yes.
Coming up on Asian Nation.
Ooh, I'm excited.
I know, it's gonna be a
Anytime
good
they
one.
get together, especially for stirring it up.
It's,
Yum.
oh gosh, yes, it's going to be a good one.
Yum.
So yeah, get your hungry ready, because it's going to happen. So that's coming up on WFB Plus.
Yes, indeed.
The big shows coming up in the studio. The next one's going to be noon, I guess.
I believe it is.
Yes, Scotty
so
Hunter?
stay with Scotty for the latest updates. In the meantime, we got you covered on the 9 News app and at WFB.com.
That's the one. Y'all behave out there. Flavor Flav!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
Oh, that's fun.